Hey, Tony, geez, coming in early, huh? I love it.
Hall of Famer. Damn.
You good?
Yeah,
good to see you, man.
Great.
Good to see you. You look great. Thanks for coming through. I
Hey,
appreciate it.
that's how tall I am in the movies, okay?
Oh, look at that, huh? Look at that. Go get some of these. All right. Welcome back to the next episode of Wide Open, the podcast. I'm your host, Tony Gonzalez. And right now, I am sitting next to Danny Trejo.
What's up?
And before we start talking, I want to give everybody a brief background about yourself. You've been in over 200 movies.
Yeah.
An empire.
IMDb has me at like 388 appearances.
388. I believe it because it seems like every time I look up, you're in one of these damn movies. You've been doing it for a long time.
1985.
Since 1985. And now you've gone into, along with still doing movies, but now you're doing food and you're doing
restaurant.
Trejo tacos and
Trejo's
donuts and cantinas.
We started 40 years ago with Trejo's Tacos, and it just kind of blew up. So now we've got 7 restaurants and 1 donut shop. We even got one restaurant with the puck guy at the airport.
So you're at the airport now too, right? Yeah, that's what I had heard.
That kind of makes you legit. To be
That's printing money too. Now. All those people walking through there. So I love to talk about people's backgrounds because I do believe that's what makes them, especially the movers and shakers. I always talk about them, the people that are doing extraordinary things. Their stories are just amazing. And your story, I met you. I don't know if you remember last year we had met after at the airport after a Super Bowl, and we got to sit down and talk. And you just told me briefly about how you came up, and I was blown away because I had no clue. I absolutely had no clue, and it's an amazing story. But let's start there. Growing up in Echo Park, what was it like back when you were younger? What was the neighborhood like in Echo Park, which is in Los Angeles?
Echo Park, when I grew up, was 99 and 9/10% Mexican, and out of that, there was probably 98% Cholo. Yeah, I mean, it was basically a ghetto, and I lived at 1934 Preston Street. Like Kinko Biloba really working. No, but it was trouble. It's like we were from EP Echo Park, and then we used to always fight with the Temple Street gang, and it was just chaos all the time. You fight on the way to school, fight on the way home, and you had to keep people out of your neighborhood, which was Echo Park.
Uh-huh.
Only problem is Echo Park is a great big park, so it was really hard kind of defending that turf because Temple Street and Clanton, a whole lot of people wanted to go to that park.
So in your house though, you grew up brothers, sisters?
No, I grew up just by myself.
You're by yourself, and your mother and father in the home, or was it
my stepmom and my dad? My dad married my mom really when I was 3. I got taken away from my real mom, and my dad kind of married my mom really kind of just take care of me, but she didn't like kids. We didn't get along for a long time, but that's kind of what I kind of just grew up on the streets. I had 2 good friends, a guy that I used to protect named Mike Schwartz and Rudy Inamoto. I used to protect him too because there was a lot of Mexicans in the. Schwartz isn't a Mexican name.
No, that doesn't sound like a Mexican name.
I used to remember, I go over to his house and I go, man, Jewish people sure got messed up donuts. And he said, not a donut. I said, what is it? It's a bagel. I go, put some jelly on it.
That's funny. My stepdad is Jewish too. It was Jewish. Passed
2
away.
of my wives are Jewish.
Really?
Yeah, so my kids are Jewish.
So I love bagels now. Bagels are great.
I
With
love
the lox
bagels.
and the cream cheese. Oh, it's so good.
When he put the cream cheese on them and stuff, I said, damn, these are good. And every day I'd stop at his house and catch a bagel.
A little bit different than tacos, huh? So when you're growing up in that type of environment, I mean, what choices did you feel like you had back then?
You know what, Tony? I had an uncle. My Uncle Gilbert. My Uncle Gilbert was a dope fiend and an armed robber. And he was my dad's youngest brother out of like 6 brothers. So mom and dad kind of like are done after the 5th one, and the 6th one is kind of just hell. And so he was kind of left by himself. I was a only child as far as growing up, so me and him tied up real close. So he started me smoking weed really early, about 8, and then I caught him fixing heroin when I was 12, and I told him to give me some. He said no. I threatened to snitch on him. No, wait. I threatened to be a whistleblower. That's a new word for snitching.
Yeah, the new word for snitching. Yeah, whistleblower.
I threatened to be a whistleblower. So I got like my first fix of hair. That's when I really started getting in trouble. That's why they sent me to Texas.
And so you go to Texas, and then you come back at what age?
Quick, yeah. I've only stayed there 3 months.
In Texas for 3 months?
I went there when I was about 12 and a half, came back when I was 13. I took 3 months, and then I couldn't. I don't want to be anywhere where you got to shoot a mosquito with a .22 pistol.
So, but when you get back, though,
I'm in Pacoima.
So what happens now? I mean, when you're between the ages, and when was the first time that you went to prison?
God, the first time I went to juvenile hall was 12, 13.
12 years old, and it was just petty stuff back then, or is it?
Everything was petty. I mean, just anything you did. Fighting and assault, strong arm robbery. Like if you take money from a paper boy, it's strong arm robbery. Give me it or I'll beat you up. That's strong arm robbery. So you just get in trouble. And that was just the way of life. We just got in trouble. Mm-hmm. I got thrown out of middle school, Pacoima Junior Middle School, about 11 times for being intoxicated or loaded or fighting, or because you got a middle school with 4 different neighborhoods in it. So. Mm-hmm.
And then the gangs. You said you were in a gang, weren't you?
Well, Pacoima. I was from Pacoima. I was from this neighborhood. So basically, that's the gang. This was a long time before people started actually like having street gangs. This was like my neighborhood gang. There was Pacoima, San Fernando, North Hollywood. All these were gangs.
And did you have any mentors while you were
growing
up? That was your uncle.
My uncle. Well, because he was the closest to my age of my uncles. Mm-hmm. So they always kind of left him. They always kind of, pushed me to him because he wasn't doing nothing. Everybody else was working. So like I said, he was a drug addict, armed robber, best guy, best dude I've ever met in my life. Really?
Yeah.
He taught me everything I was going to need to know in prison. Mm-hmm. That's simple, and that's the choices that we had growing up. It's not, you could either be a laborer or a criminal or a hustler or do,
So you're looking at it and you're like, okay, my choices are either a life of crime.
Yeah.
And was there any role models?
Yeah, but you don't look at it that. You don't look at it like a life of crime. It's just a way of life. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just this. What do I do? Do I want to work as hard as this Mexican? Yeah. Or do I want to work as hard as this man? The guy that's got the new car and the money. My uncle always had a roll of money like that, always. And I'd give me a couple of bucks, he'd peel out that here. I can remember when, there's the lady. I was good. But I was trying to get that one of the girls in the neighborhood, I was about 9, I guess, to show me her breasts, and she wouldn't do it. And then my uncle and a guy named Charlie Diaz that just did a robbery, and they came home. Now they were wearing like black. These had peggers, like black pegger pants, black shoes, black shirt, and a top coat. There was those top coats that are cashmere, but it wasn't like cashmere. It was like fake cashmere, but looked good. Mm-hmm. And they pull up and they put on. They just did a robbery. They had all these ones, and they were like floor showings. Hey, here, I don't want to take this. So they each gave me about 8 ones. Mm-hmm. I'm 9 years old with 18 ones.
Yeah, and that's a lot of money back then.
Yeah. And this is like this is the 50s.
Yeah.
And I remember going back to that girl with Hey, I'll give you $3.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
money buys everything.
Yeah.
And you start learning that. And the
the
guy
message,
that's working hard, you're coming home sweating with that stinky lunch bucket, he's not making that kind of money.
Yeah.
Only problem is there's a bigger price to pay with the money that you make
Yeah.
than the money that he, you know what I mean?
I do.
But you don't, that doesn't, it's just like that self-gratification. We did our first robbery when I was 14 years old. Me and a guy named Mike Cerna. And we robbed the Far East Market on Lancashire. And the old Chinese people, don't ever rob Chinese people. He said they will not give up money. But I had a pistol that came down like this, and you put the bullets in a revolver. But the only problem that it was broken, so you had to hold it like this, you know. And I'm screaming, "Give me the money! Give me the money!" And so she gave me like $8 out of the cash register. But you know that, like, they keep the 5s and the 10s in the cigar box underneath. So I said, "No, give me that money." I went like that, and that's when the gun broke in half, you know. And so then the guy from back came running out, and me and Mike Cerna went running down Lancashire, laughing and cracking up. You know, we got $8 out of our first robbery.
So when obviously it catches up to you, and you
Obviously,
going to prison.
Yeah.
And so when you got to prison, though, what did was that a fearful thing for you?
No, because
What was that like the first time you actually went to the big?
If you grow up in the system, okay, it's like you, okay, you played Pop. Well, I don't know if you played Pop Warner.
Yeah, I played Pop Warner
played Pop
football.
Warner. Then you played high school. Then you played college. Then you went to the NFL. So now when you weren't afraid. You were like, oh, anxious, because you knew most of the guys there. You know, you knew some of the guys on that team. And that's the same thing with, I was in juvenile hall, I was in camp, I was in youth authority. When I got to the what's up, home dog? You know,
Really?
so it's the same kind of, just kind of a alternate universe.
But well, for me with football though, as every time I moved up, when I first got to college, I show up on campus, right? Coming from high school, and I was the man back then. But then when I get to college, you're dealing with these grown men now, and I got to believe it's like that from the juvenile system to the prison
Youth authority.
system.
Well, you go from juvenile.
You weren't scared at all, though.
to
You
youth-
weren't scared at all.
It's not fear. It's anxiety, and find out what enemies you got there. And you got to remember, you always have a crew. I never was anywhere alone. I've never had a fair fight in my life. I think fair fights are stupid.
Well, what
Because
what did prison teach you about fear and anger?
you see, in prison, there's people that have fear. See, and in prison, you learn how not to have fear. It goes straight to rage. You understand? It's like, do you have a temper? No. You go straight to rage. So if you give me a dirty look, and if I become a little bit what you call fear, it just comes out. It's like, wait a minute, I don't have time for this, because this is a killing situation. There's only two kinds of people in prison. There's predators or prey. I don't care how big you are, who you are. You got to choose every damn day what you're going to be. Because you might be a predator, but I might be over here thinking you're prey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's that simple. And if I'm doing 10 years, you're doing 18 months, and you got money, you're in trouble. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't care what celebrity, what athlete, didn't give a shit. They went to prison, paid protection. Every one of them. I know some of the guys right now that are in the joint paying protection.
Yeah.
And they won't call it protection. They'll say, no, I'm taking care of my crew.
Yeah.
That means, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stop taking care of your crew. See what happens.
Yeah.
Your name will be Alice.
So it seems like it seems like a smart thing to do. That's self-preservation. I'm like,
no, let me tell you something. When we were in Quentin, me, Tyrone Rye, Cookie, and Frog, and we had like this little protection ring, right? Only problem with a protection ring is that you have to prove that you can protect whatever you're protecting. So if somebody comes in that you know is prey, you go to them and say, hey, look, you're gonna have a lot of trouble in this joint. Now for this much money, we'll take care of you. And they've got a choice to make, you know. And it's so funny. Some of them, bam. First time they come with a black eye, okay, what do I got to do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because first of all, it's like there's no real fights in prison. Nobody fights. If I sock you, you're gonna sock me back, and then we're gonna tussle, right?
Yeah.
If I come up behind you, stab you 3 times, and walk away, I'll get away with it. So I've never seen a fair fight in prison in my life, and I've been in every prison in the state of California that was built when I was going.
So off of that though, so while you're in prison, what did you think about your future? Did that ever cross your mind? What was your dreams, your goals while you were at that age in prison?
I think your goals in prison are very, very shallow. They're like kind of like making it through the day. I was lightweight and welterweight champion boxing at every joint I was in, and that was my goal. That was my goal. That's as far as it went. And I'll never forget, kid said, well, wait a minute. Aren't you cutting yourself kind of short? Like, what are you talking about? I said, well, there's such things as championing the world. But you can't think that far ahead. I'm doing 10 years. You know, so it's like my future is today. I think prison is the best way in the world that you learn how to live one day at a time.
Really?
Yeah. Because the future depends on whether that guy got a letter, or that guy broke up with his wife, or that guy thinks you're looking at him. You know, that's kind of like your future.
So it teaches you that presence.
Always.
Meaning
Presence,
you can't look ahead and you can't think about the past.
You know what? Where the term "I got your back" came from? It means that when me and you were talking, I got your back. That it came from prison, because we're talking. That means you can't see behind you. We're blah 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 blah. I got your back. You're doing the same thing. That's where it came from. I got your back.
So you talked about boxing though.
Yeah,
you got into boxing when you were something you picked up while you were in prison.
My uncle started boxing when I was like, he was in the Golden Glove, and he could thump. He was naturally heavy-handed. And I was his, I want to say sparring partner, but I was his punching bag, you know, and I had to kind of learn how to like duck, move, block punches, or I was getting my head beat. And then that's what we did. So he got me started boxing. And then I boxed, and juvenile hall, you know, same thing. You set up fights and just have fights but those were like just bare just to fight. And I was good. It's like I knew straight punches, because everybody that comes at you like just straight punches. And so when I got to youth authority, started boxing. Tracy, we used to box all the time. They had a boxing, and Tracy was kind of at the time in the 60s, it was kind of like youth authority, which is young guys, youth authority, and A numbers, you know, so which are adult. So you had some great boxing matches there, because some of the youngsters were pretty good. Some of the old guys were. And then from there, you go to Quentin Folsom.
Did boxing, kind of like exercise does for a lot of people, where you exercise, you go get a workout, helps you release some of that stress, get some of that anger out, or whatever it is you're dealing with. So was boxing that for you? Did it kind of was a release for you while you were there?
Absolutely, and it's a reputation. You know, it's like the most important thing in the penitentiary is your reputation, and you bring your reputation follows you, and I would start running the gym because everybody knew me and they knew I could fight, and they knew. So I would run the gym. The gym is the best place to make Pruno, is the best place to hide weapons. It's the best. There's all kinds of hiding places, you know. And so it was the best place kind of to be hustling and to be doing whatever you got to do.
Did you ever hit rock bottom? Or
Absolutely.
While you were in prison, did you ever feel
That's
like
where I got
okay,
clean. I got clean in prison.
What was that moment like? If you don't mind talking about that, I'd love to hear about it.
1968,
Huh?
Cinco de Mayo,
Mm-hmm.
in prison in Soledad. And Cinco de Mayo, everybody thinks it means 5th of May. But if you're really a Mexican, like from Cora, you know what I mean? Cinco de Mayo means you better get bail money because you're going to jail. Or you're, for whatever, you know, for your wife stabbing you or you beating her up or shooting a gun or fighting with your neighbors or crashing your car. That's what Cinco de Mayo means to most people. And so Cinco de Mayo, everybody in this every Mexican in the penitentiary was drunk, loaded on glue, pills, heroin, whatever they, you know. And we got an outside baseball team that came in to play our team. And me, Ray Pacheco, and Henry Quijada, we were just wasted out of our minds. And we were like on the third base bleachers here. And third base was just right there. And they had a guy about, God, I hate to say it, but he's about 6'1". Now, we're male Mexican, numerous tattoos. So this guy had, we're all like 5'7", 5'8". And we're looking at him, and he's chewing gum. And this was your perfect athlete. I hate to say it to him, but he was about like your size. You know what I mean? And chewing gum. And we're not allowed gum in the penitentiary. And this was a guy that you knew was like an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
And Ray had come down from Tascadero. He had a double murder. He came down because Tascadero is the mental hospital, but it's run by the Department of Health. You know, Vacaville is the mental hospital for the criminally insane, but it's run by the Department of Corrections. So he came down from Tascadero with a 7-year top because it's medical. And so he's there, and the shock treatments and all the medication that he was under started wearing off. I used to love the tease that might come up behind him and go, shut up, Daddy. And so I knew this stuff was wearing off because he was like, you know, and he was like looking at this guy chew gum, and he was like almost like a little kid. Danny, I want some gum. You know what I mean? And I said, shut up, Ray. Don't shut up. Don't. That vato's bad. Don't mess with that vato, Holmes. What? You know, no, hey, Ray. And Vato knows karate. Please don't ask him. I don't want to have to help you out. Blah, blah. And Ray just lost it. And he just, hey, puto, give me some gum. You know, this guy turns around. I can't. They told us not to give you guy. And that's as far as he got. Pow! Ray socked him. Socking a free person in the penitentiary is a gas chamber offense. Now, when something happens in the pen, it just blows up. It just blows up. Henry Quijada ruptured Coach Strahlmeyer. It was alleged that I threw a rock and hit Lieutenant Givens in the head, and the next thing I remember is Captain Rogers going like this, and that means shoot there to the gun tower.
Yeah, pointing down.
Just shoot there.
Yeah.
And I followed his finger, and me and Ray were right there. So I just grabbed Ray, and we went to the ground, and they took us to the hole. And it was like, we're done. You understand? We're done. It's like we knew it. It's like, this is going to the DA. We got 3 gas chamber offenses. And I remember seeing a movie years ago with the East Side Kids. They were like from Brooklyn. They were like from New York and shit, you know. But it was a gang, and the bad guy in their gang, the main guy was going to the chair, you know. And all these youngsters, he'll spit in their eye, and he'll tell them, come get me copper. And then Pat O'Brien had to come and say, nah, he went out like a bitch. You know, he was screaming and yelling and pissed his pants. And they were heartbroken. but it kind of showed you that, nobody's and I remember just asking God, let me die with dignity. Lord, just I got a reputation. Let me die with dignity. I will say your name every day, and I will do whatever I can for my fellow man. That was my spot. But I thought it was only going to be like a couple of years, then they were going to kill us. It wasn't. Diosito fooled me and said, all right, punk, at the rest of your life, to hold up that promise. You know what, Tony? The rest of my life, since 1968, Cinco de Mayo, I've done everything I can for my fellow man. I've said his name 5, 6, 7, 8 times a day. Every one of my friends. To be my friend, you got to have thermal underwear. You got to have socks and T-shirts in your trunk of your car to pass out to the homeless. Every one of my friends, you go check their trunk. No, I got you. You buy them downtown, doesn't cost nothing.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. That's what we do. Me and Mario, we're the kind of Mario right now is working. What we're doing, we're working with the lifers. All the guys that get out of the pen, they got life, and they're still basically in the pen, but they're able to come out on the streets and finish their time.
Yeah,
all of them have done 35, 40, 42. Tewksbury's Gil's done 52 years locked up. Now, what chance do they got? What chance? They don't even have family left. They're on the street. So it's like, what we do is like, look, we're going to show you how the game out here. And it's just like one of the veterans getting USH. I'm going to show you the game up here.
Yeah. So that happens in 1968, Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo,
and you say to yourself, you
1968.
make this vow to yourself
Yeah.
that I'm not going to be that person that I was.
I think God killed that guy right there where I was. And just said,
So
okay.
where does that come from, though? Because all of a sudden it was about giving. It's,
know what?
it's like, was that there? Obviously, it had to be there before. You learned what helped you integrate that.
Like I knew about Alcoholics Anonymous. I knew about Narcotics Anonymous because you do all that shit in the joint. You do it, and so it was like that's where I started going. I said, wait, this is what I got to do. There's got to be a way to take drugs and alcohol out of your life.
Yeah.
Period. You know what I mean? Drugs, and you got to take them out of your life. And that's number one. And then from there on, when my uncle got out of the joint, 1972, I'd been out, 1969, August 23rd, I'd been out. And he came to the shop. Hey, I was working in a wrecking yard. Hey, start dealing dope for him. I couldn't. Nah, I can't, man. And that punk shows up in a 1969 Lincoln. 1970 beautiful Lincoln Continental. He's got on those Bolero slacks in the 70s. They were so cool. They were real high-waisted. He's got on a $80 shirt. You know what I mean? And he's got $200 shoes, and that was like for the left one. You know what I mean? And he said, hey, come on. He's only been out of the joint about 2 weeks. He's already got everything going for him. And I'm looking like a escaped from a Vietnamese prison. I'm like just covered in grease. I'm working in a wrecking yard.
Yeah.
He put $1,000 down. Here, $1,000 down and 2 quarters of heroin. Just deal it for me. Get it. I screamed, no, I can't, man. I grabbed the 1,000 and went to the bank. I got the money, but I didn't take the heroin. But 3 months later, he was shooting it out with the cops.
Wow, it's amazing. So you go through that change. Well, how was that with the people that knew you from before?
It was funny.
And how do you, because a lot of people go through that. Okay, let's say, especially you're in this life.
At first,
how do your friends and your family accept this new version of yourself?
You have to. You're locked in this drug world. All your friends are drug related. So if you get clean, the last thing they want to do is stay with you. But I can remember the first person I tried to help. I'm sitting in front. I got out of the joint on a Saturday. Sunday, I'm standing out in front of my mom's, trying to figure out how the piss am I gonna be a nice guy. You know what I mean? And I'm looking around, and Monday was the trash day, and I seen this old lady pulling out her trash, and because this is before they had the big cans that they got, the big rolling, you used to put everything in a tina and pull it out. And I said, that's what I'll do. And I walked over to her to help her. I'll never forget her words. No me again. Cállate, vieja. And I grabbed her can and I pulled it out. And then I went to the backyard to get her other can. She never took her eyes off me. She's like, because she knew I was going to run to the garage and get a lawnmower steel. I brought her can out again. You know? And that's what I started doing. I started taking out the old people's trash on Sundays for my mom's neighborhood. And these are all the people I robbed their garages. And so I had to prove to myself. Somebody said, well, you had to humble. No, I didn't have to humble myself. I had to help people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How'd that make you feel when you're out there helping people? What was that feeling like?
I got to say, it was like, first of all, it was like doing a chore. And then one day I came home and there's this jacket. It was a fake suede double-breasted blazer. They were popular in the 70s. And the rich people had like real suede. This was fake. But it was hanging on a clothing bag. I said, Mama, what's that? She said, Mijo, that old man with the he had real bad arthritis in his hands, and he would have to like push his trash, he couldn't grab it with his hands, and he said, he gave you that. And I gotta say that I said, wow, like, will you get presents for being good? I know it sounds stupid, but it was like I got something for being good, and it wasn't like this is what I worked for. You know what I mean? Them laborers and stuff, they work for this. I didn't do. I just take people's trash out. I didn't get paid for it. I think I got an overwhelming feeling of like okay, I'm holding up to my promise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it's like we're like all my friends. We're like helper guys.
Yeah.
I'm called, hey, I got a plumbing problem. We got plumbers, we got guys that mechanics, we got everything.
Uh-huh. Well, I remember when we were sitting in the airport when I met you. One thing that really stuck with me is you said everything that's good that's ever happened to you has happened because you were doing something good for somebody else.
Everything good that's happened to me.
What a lesson, right? I mean, that's something that. And you look. How old were you at that point in the 1970s?
When I come out of the joint, I was 27.
27, and you didn't do your first movie until you were 41.
I did my first movie in 1985. And that was I was trying to be an extra, but just that for $50, I wouldn't want to be an actor. I was a drug counselor, and that's what I did.
So between doing movies and getting out in 68,
when I got out.
So what were you doing those 13, 14, 15 years?
Okay, well, when I first got out, I worked in a wrecking yard. And then me and a kid named Danny Levitoff started a gardening business. It was funny because I loved Danny because he took a lot of acid. He was just a young kid, and I was going to this group of kids that my sponsor took me to like help them, right? Because I was an old convict, right? And so he was like, he would just laugh. That's all he did, because he spun out on acid, right? And when he told me he was robbing Jack in the Boxes on Ventura Boulevard, and he robbed one and he stashed his gun, right? And he was walking down the street and he forgot to take the ski mask off. Because he was loaded, right? Yeah. So the cops are all rolling up on him. He's wondering what the hell. And get your ass in the car. Because he had a ski mask on.
Like, I'm telling you, I didn't do it. That's not me. The wrong guy.
And so I love we started talking, right? And I said, come on, let's start a gardening business and do something, right? So I would send him up to the front door. He'd knock on the door. He'd good looking little white kid. Hey, can I mow your lawn? He's, sure, And then, okay, do you have a lawnmower? We didn't have a lawnmower. We didn't have nothing. Can we have trash bags? And we would borrow all their stuff.
Yeah.
What I had a 59 Impala Chevy. And the 59 Impala Chevy has a trunk this long. It's got that big, long trunk. So we would put all the trash in the Impala and then take it to Vaughn's and dump it in their trash can so we wouldn't have to, pay a dump, right? And then we'd haul trash, throw it in everything. So we made a little money. And everything good that's happened to me has happened as a direct result of helping someone else. When I left to go to the joint, there was a lady, beautiful yard. And it was my mom's neighbor, a beautiful yard. She had 2 sons. They were youngsters. And one of them got killed in a gang war. One of them got killed in Nam, and her husband committed suicide. So she turned into like the bruja, the witch lady. You know, everybody knew she was a witch, so watch out. And she turned you into a cat. And I remember seeing her yard, and me and Dad said, you know, come on, let's just do it. So we just got like first cleaned up her yard. So every 2 days we'd go and do something on her yard, and she would like just look at us, you know what I mean? And I had what do you call it? A fantasy of being in Las Vegas and going, hey, bring me a drink, and hearing the cocktail waitress bring a drink in like a real glass, you know, and you hear it, ice in a glass is a lot different than ice like in a tin cup or a tumbler. You know, in that crystal glass, clink, clink, clink. It's a complete different sound. And she would always put lemonade out for us, and one of them beautiful old people pictures. You know, the ones with the gold like around the top, and then these beautiful crystal glasses. And she would put it out on the porch. You couldn't step outside because witches burn up the sun, but she would like put them out like that, and they'd be right there. And I knew she turned people into cats, so I'd tell Danny, take a drink, and he'd, how is it? Good. Do you feel like going like that? And he goes, no, okay, well then. But I remember hearing that crystal. I remember. Not exactly what I meant, God, but
well, hey,
you know what I mean? But I got it.
Yeah.
And so wait.
Yeah,
While I'm doing that,
go ahead. Yeah.
This guy comes over, a big hillbilly, right? Comes on, he got that shit in his mouth, and he said, "Hey, Pancho, right there, $10 for whatever you want, fucker." You know, and he says, "How much you charging the lady?" Nothing. She's crazy. We're just helping her out. And he says, well, come over to my yard. I want you guys to check this out. And I call Pablo, Danny Levitov. That's another $10 fool. And so we go, and this guy starts telling us everything he wants to do. You know, I want this, I want that. Cha-ching. I mean, we got him up to about $60 a month, Holmes. You know what I mean? And then he says, we go to his garage, and he opens his garage. And his garage was like, I don't know. It was one of those garages where if the hammer was gone, you knew because it was painted. There was a hammer painted there, you know, and it was like, wow, beautiful. And he says, look, I got this. He had every equipment known to mankind for mowing a lawn, edgers, wheelbarrow, everything. He's, look, I love working on the yard. My wife won't let me. I had a heart attack. I'm going to give you this equipment if you mow my lawn. Shit, I'll come over and wash your back, Holmes. You know what I mean? I mean, this was expensive stuff. This was the one like, this was top of the line. So we got so much equipment, we went and bought a van. You know what I mean? And then when I sold that business, we had 2 trucks, 4 guys working for us, and then our truck. You know, we worked. And my dad got us into some like big buildings. We'd make us a lot of money, good money. Yeah. And then from there, I sold it, went into being a drug counselor. And I got to be a drug counselor in 1974. And that's what I did till I got into the movies. Yeah. I'm still a drug counselor. I still work for Western Pacific Rehab. Uh-huh. You know, we still work there.
Nice.
Detoxifying drug addicts.
So tell me, so now the movie business comes. How did the movie business start?
That was, like I said, I was running around trying to be an extra, right? And then I don't go to work. I'm working with this one kid, and he calls me up and said, hey, Danny, there's a lot of blow down here on my set. 1985, cocaine was crazy, okay? Cocaine was everywhere. I remember one night, late night TV, Sammy Davis Jr. and Johnny Carson were talking, and Johnny goes, "What's this on TV?" Sammy Davis, that's my Coke spoon, and he goes, "Oh, yeah," blah, blah, blah. And they started talking about cocaine.
Yeah,
it was on national TV. I was damn, and then so I go down. This kid says, "Can you come down here?" That's what we do. We hang out with people that want to stay clean.
Yeah.
And it's funny because he says, I think I'm going to use. I've been out of the joint from 1969. This is 1985. Nobody ever called me and said, I think I'm going to use. Everybody always called me loaded.
Yeah.
Or from a bar.
Yeah.
You know, and so this guy said, yeah, come on over. He said, I can't. I got this job. I go down to this job. His job was a movie set of a movie called Runaway Train. John Voight and Eric Roberts. I walked onto that movie set. That was the cutest thing I'd ever seen in my life. Because all these guys were dressed like convicts, right? But they're all walking around going, hey, fucker, watch out, puto, hey. And prison is the most polite place you'll ever be.
Uh-huh.
Because if I'm a murderer and you're a murderer, you're the last guy I want to offend. He's like,
I get it.
Excuse me, oh, sorry, bro. You know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you've got a certain look that you got to look and look away, or
it makes
too long.
sense.
There's a whole repertoire of things you have to do. But I'm watching this guy. One guy comes, hey, Holmes, does this look tough? I go, yeah, you'd be somebody's wife in prison, Holmes. And all their tattoos smeared. I couldn't believe it. This guy looks at me and says, hey, do you want to be in this movie? And I said, what I got to do? He said, you want to be an extra? I said, extra what? He says, can you act like a convict? And when he said that, I almost laughed. I said, I'll give it a shot. And I take off my shirt because they give me a blue shirt. And this guy sees that tattoo and he goes, wait. And I'm trying to think, what stupid gang sign is that? You know? And he said, leave your shirt off. I was standing there. This other guy comes, an older guy. Hey, you're Danny Trejo. I go, yeah. Daddy, I saw you in the lightweight and welterweight title up in Quentin. I said, you're Eddie Bunker. I know this guy. This guy got famous writing writs in prison because writs have to be grammatically correct. They have to be written in the language of the court, or they just kick them out. And anybody that goes to prison, if you've got an attorney look at your transcript, you got 2 or 3 writs where they screwed up. And so Eddie would charge them like $100 to read it and then point out where they got writs and then charge them according to what the writ was. So he made a lot of money in the joint. And me and Eddie, we started talking. He said, hey, are you still boxing? I go, no, man, I don't get hit in the face no more. I'm 41 years old.
Yeah.
He says, we need somebody to train one of the actors how to box. Now, they're going to give me $50 for acting like a convict. So I says, what's it pay? And he says, $320 a day. I says, I'll bet you want this guy beat up. Oh, that's a hit. I mean, I wasn't making $320 a week. I said, shit. Well, how much? How bad you want this guy? Beat? No. You got to be careful, Danny. Actor's real high strung. He might sock you. I said, Eddie, for $320 a day, give him a stick, homie. I've been beat up for free. I started training an actor named Eric Roberts how to box for the movie Runaway Train. Mm-hmm. And Eric respected me, you know what I mean? And Eddie had told him, you know, he's a lightweight, welterweight champion of Quentin, bad, blah, blah. So Eric respected me quite a bit and would do whatever I told him to do. Mm-hmm. And Andrei Kozlowski, the director, you got to remember, Eric was a movie star at that time, big movie star. And movie stars are dicks, okay? They're just dicks. And so Andre had a hard time communicating with Eric. And then he saw that he would do whatever I told him to do. Mm-hmm. So I'll never forget, he came over and Andre, real soft spoken, he goes, Danny, you be in movie and you fight Eric in movie and you be my friend. Now, prison backgrounds, you don't hear people saying, you be my friend, because there's a lot of things can go wrong there. Mm-hmm. And then he leans over and he kisses me on one cheek, kisses me on the other cheek, and walks away. Mm. And I told Eddie, look, Eddie, I'm going to train the kid for $320, but if I'm going to be kissing that old man, I want more money. And Eddie goes, no, he's European. Okay, why are we kissing? And I found out that's what Europeans do. They kiss, So I like it. And but you know, that was where I got a SAG card. I got all the things that an actor gets. And from there, the first 5 years of my career, Tony, I played inmate number one. Inmate number one, bad guy, tattooed dude. You know, I never had a name. First name I got was Art Sanella in Death Wish 4. I played an Italian. I didn't get to play Mexican.
Oh, that's so. It's just like off to the races.
It was
after
just
that,
unbelievable.
Though, right? And then it's just kind of a snowfall.
It was funny because the first time I ever got interviewed, right, by some girl fresh out of interview school, she says, "Danny, aren't you afraid of being stereotyped?" And I says, "What are you talking about?" She says, "Well, you're being typecast." And I says, "As what?" And she says, "Well, you're always playing the mean Chicano dude with tattoos." I thought about it. I remember lifting up my shirt going, "I am the mean Chicano dude with tattoos. What are you talking about? I'm making a living with what I got." And that's what it was. I didn't know I was being stereotyped or typecast. I just knew I was bringing on. I could work for 3 days and make more money than most people make in a month. You know, I was making that was almost $1,000. And it was like, I worked 3 days. So I loved being inmate number one here, going over here, being bad guy number two over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like, that's all I was doing.
Well, you know, there's something to be said about that, where embracing who you are and what gifts you already have, instead of saying, okay, well, let's try to be in that box over there.
Hey, let me
embrace
tell
who the hell you are.
I have watched so many guys in the gym waiting to be, no, I'll only take a leading role. Well, keep working out, Holmes. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go work.
Yeah.
And I can remember when Dennis Hopper, I love Dennis, one of my best friends, a sucker. You didn't cast me, but there was a movie called Colors.
Yeah.
And I went out, and I knew I got it made because he's my friend, right? And I go, "Okay, Dennis, blah, blah, blah." Then I walked out, right? And I go out the parking lot, and there's this dude, he's crying. You know, and I'm like, your kid or your puppy or what? You know, your old lady? What, you found her with your brother? What? You know, what? You know, I don't think I did that. Shut up. What are you talking about? Let's go to the next one. You know what I mean? It's like you got to keep coming up to bat to get a hit.
Yeah.
Your baseball players get paid millions and millions of dollars. Some of them strike out. You know what I mean? It's like so you got to keep coming up the bat to get it, and that's the way I saw it. You know, so more people, a lot of guys hated like interviews. I loved them because the more the more people that get to know you, all the people that they're going to remember you.
Yeah.
You know, you might not be right for this, but you'll be right for something else. Dennis didn't give me a part either. But the guy that he chose, I got to say, did a great job.
So,
You know what I mean?
so with that, it sounds like, and one thing I talk about a lot, because I know it's really helped me out a lot, is doing the shit that you're afraid of, that you want to do, and really not caring about what other people think. Like, how are you able to just not care, but from a place of respect, I guess, but just owning who you are? How do you? What recommendation would you give to people listening?
You know what? It's like
about that. Yeah.
I really don't want to live for anybody else. It's like this thing, life is not a dress rehearsal. We got one shot at it, you know. And if you look at the big picture, it's like the world. Period. We're on the Titanic looking for a good seat. You know what I mean? And it's like, we got to do the best we can here. So if all I want to do is please you or please you or please you, I'm in trouble. I lose me. You know what I mean? So it's like, I care what people think. Anybody that says they don't, full of shit. But that doesn't govern my life. What people think don't govern my life. Yes, I care what you think. I'm sorry if I offended. And I try not to offend people. I hate arguing. Arguing, bottom line to an argument's a murder. Last thing I want to do is argue. So when people get in my face, you know, it's like, I'm thinking, worth killing? No, hell no, I'm sorry. You know, I'm going to walk away. You know what I mean? If you hurt my family, different story. You know, if you did something to me personally, you know what I mean? but somebody's, shame on you. I don't care. That's baby shit.
I hear you. So now that you're famous or whatever, I mean, with being out there in the public eye, scrutiny comes too, critiques come. How do you deal with that part of the business or going in? I don't know how much you audition. I'm pretty sure you probably don't have to audition.
More, but I got to tell you something. I have like tunnel, everywhere I go, I have tunnel vision. I wake up in the morning, I say my prayers. Dear Heavenly Father, let me sign every autograph. Let me take every picture. Dear Heavenly Father, let me help 3 people today, at least 3 people. And I do that because that's my job. My mom said, you know what, you think God made you an actor? Because, he made you an actor to sign every autograph and take every picture and say, God bless you to everybody. Mm-hmm. And they're listening when you say, God bless you, because God put you in this position. Like when I go to a school, I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. If you go to a class, an auditorium of let's say, high school kids, mm-hmm. and you try to talk to them, okay, first, you got to get their attention. That's impossible because they have no attention. Secondly, you've got to keep their attention. That's impossible because, number one, they don't have attention. 3, you have to show them you're cool. If you're 10 years older than them, you lost your cool button. Mm-hmm. Then you deliver your message, my message. Drugs and alcohol will ruin your life. Education is the key to anything you want to do, okay? Biggest problem, they're not listening. Tony, when me or you walk on a campus, we've got everybody's attention from the start. Because, fuck, Tony G, damn. They're running to the auditorium. Even the kids that don't want it, that don't usually go, fuck that shit. I ain't going that shit. That shit's verbuto. They're going to go because they want to hear the guy from the Kansas City Chief. They want to hear the guy. They don't know Tony. They want to hear the guy from the Kansas City Chief. They want to hear the guy from come on, man, you won a fucking award, dude. That's the man. When I show up, they don't know who I am. They just want the guy from Spy Kids, the guy from Heat, the guy from Desperado. So I had to say, wait a minute, pull me out and say, let me give them what they want. Mm-hmm. And so the good Lord put me in this position for that. What do you call it? Plateau. I forget.
Mm-hmm. Well, good. I mean,
there's a word for it. Where you got something to talk about. A platter.
No, it's, what is it called? I know what you're talking about. Pedestal.
No, not a
platform. Platform.
Who went to college? Yeah, but you know what I mean. That's like, and it's like you walk on any campus, you got everybody's attention.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Okay, now Uni Giggins walks onto a campus, like him, they don't know who he is. Uh-huh. So I wish more people. Do you know what? Like if J-Lo came to baddest high school in L.A., right, and said, hey, you can do it, all them little girls are gonna be listening.
Yeah,
all of them, because they worship her.
Yeah.
She ain't got time. A lot of people don't got time. I remember one time they had a big thing in Juvenile Hall, and they invited, I won't say their names, but they invited 4 of the bad dudes from Hollywood, right? All the guys who are always in trouble and shit, right? All of them, and then this guy, as an afterthought, invited me. This was and I said okay. So I'm not as big a star as them guys. So I showed up. And everybody called and said they couldn't make it. And then the guy asked me, Danny, why'd you show up? Mm-hmm. I said, because I owe, Holmes. They don't owe.
Yeah.
I owe. I ain't paid up yet.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
You still feel that way?
Hell yeah.
Really?
Shit, I ain't paid up, Holmes.
Uh-huh.
I didn't get caught for everything. Shit. In 1965, I sold 4 ounces of sugar to a federal agent. You know what I mean? And that was just, yeah.
There's a lot to be said. Right place, right time, luck. Yeah. Do you believe in that? No.
I don't believe in luck. I don't believe in luck. I believe in divine intervention. Mm-hmm. I believe in the good Lord. I believe in, God's got a plan for all of us. and it's not to live in prison. It's not to be addicted to drugs. It's like even people talk about this. Are you against alcohol? Hell no. I sell beer. I got a beer. Trejo's Canteen. I'm against drinking beer and beating up your wife. I'm against drinking beer and getting in a car. I'm against drinking and screaming at your kids. I'm against the effects of taking something to the extreme.
Yeah.
You know, I got friends that drink. I got friends that smoke weed.
Yeah.
And they handle it.
Yeah.
I'm against weed if that leads you to heroin.
Yeah.
Doesn't always.
Tell me about your latest film. What do you got going right now?
I don't know. I just did 2 cartoons. I did I forget the names. Green was one of them.
Do you guys know the
Big City Green. I did Big City Green, and then I just did another one that's kind of a Latino, really cool. I really like it, and I can't remember Valentino, and I did a movie called Slayer. No,
Look how much work you got going on. I love it. You're like,
you know what? I know my son my son just directed me in a movie called From a Son, and it's unbelievable. I couldn't believe him. It's the kid I used to put on timeout. And I mean, he's like,
how cool? How cool was that though? To be directed by your
talk
son,
about it,
seeing
man.
him in action.
Shoot me now. I'm done.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
how great.
It's amazing watching him look through the camera. You okay? I like that shot. Yeah, watching him fix the light. You know, he knows everything. Little shit knows. I wanted him to be an actor. Bien, but he's a good-looking kid, right?
Yeah.
And I was always trying to put him in front of the camera, and he's always talking to the guy doing sound and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know how kids are. Man. I got 4 of them too. They're not listening to you. They want to listen to us. Jeez.
Yeah, that's so cool. Oh yeah, we just got submitted to Sundance.
The film you did with your
My
boy.
son, yeah.
Oh man,
I know.
Congrats.
I'm so proud.
Go check that out, people.
And then there's the Hollywood Film. No, what is it? Highland Park Film Festival this Thursday, and they might show some clips of his movie, and that's at 5:00 in Highland Park.
And then on top of that, so you're still doing movies.
Oh, yeah.
You're building an empire. You're doing everything.
I got a record label called
And you got a
Trails
record label.
Music. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was like really cool. We dropped our first album, Chicano Soul Shop Volume 1, and it's like cruising music. You know, it's not real hard rap or none of that, beating up cops or none of that. It's like it's all about
soothing, to the soul, like relax.
Yeah.
Let's chill out.
And we did it kind of like Art LeBeau, like, hey, here's another good one from Blue Blue, and then the song, you know. So
I love it.
I monitor it.
So you got all this stuff going on. I mean, I gotta know, what is your routine like? Do you exercise?
Oh yeah.
So you exercise daily, or is this 4 or 5 times?
Every chance I get. I put a gym in my house. Just like if I don't sleep, I'll go to the gym. Just work out.
Do you still like do boxing exercise and stuff like that? I know not boxing, but
I'll
boxing workouts.
I hit the bag or jog a little, but I don't want to. Like after a while, the rope jump bouncing gets old hard on your knees and stuff.
I know how that is.
So you know, like I'll just work out, but I'm in great shape. You know? 170 pounds right on it all the time.
Nice. And so what about I know you got Trejo's tacos and you got the donuts, but I know you're not eating that all the time because you look too good.
We got good food, man. I eat at the restaurants and I eat for free. And you know, it's like, but like, well, that's what we demanded good food. And then like I work with autistic children. So what we did was doctors have said that kids with autism don't do good with gluten. So I said, let's do a gluten-free menu. So we got a gluten-free menu where now we get a lot of moms and dads with their kid, and mom don't have to cook 3 meals because it's gluten-free.
So obviously you've done all these movies and all the other stuff that you're doing. What's a movie role that you would have wanted to play in? Anything out there like, you know what, that would have been a cool role to play?
Oh, I love Westerns. I love any Western, any cowboy. I would have loved to work with John Wayne. I would have, you know, I would just love to work with the Duke, but I used to have my kids all every time John Wayne would come on, say, everybody, and we'd stand up and like salute. And John, when they were little, it was John Wayne. Then when they found out he was just an actor, right? And then I had a dog named Cash, a big old Labrador Rottweiler mix, right? Big. And my daughter, one time she was 16 and walking through the living room, and my dog was right there. We were watching John Wayne, and she goes, "Oh, you got John Wayne?" And I said, "Cash, you like John Wayne?" He would like bark if you asked him if he liked John Wayne.
What is your favorite film?
The Searchers, John Wayne.
Of all time now. No, so
Of all time.
if we're going to screen a movie at your house
Searchers,
with tacos
John
and donuts,
Wayne,
you're going to show The Searchers.
You know what?
by
I've
John
had
Wayne.
the same 12 Westerns on my what do you call it? My iPad since they got it. Since they got it for me about 5 years ago. The same. I watch every time I get on a plane. I watch the same one. Searchers is one of them, and there's another one called oh God, Searchers and Red River. John Wayne.
You got a favorite John Wayne quote? Anything like that?
Yeah, life is really tough. It's even tougher if you're stupid. I love that.
That's something my grandma would say to me. The tattoo on your chest, you showed it to us.
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
That would come from Harry Super Jew Ross, the friend of mine that I've known for like, God, since we were 15.
Mm-hmm.
And we doing robberies, right? We crossed paths, but we hit San Quentin. I hit San Quentin, and he was there, and we did the first outline of it, and then I got kicked out of Quentin. I got sent from Quentin to Folsom, and as I was leaving, it was kind of like West Side Story, a love story, because he's going, because all we got is the outline, and he goes, "Don't let nobody touch it. I'll be in Folsom." And it's okay. I'm in the bus. Okay, and then about 3 months later, he came into Folsom, and we did a little more. There's a big riot in Folsom. I got sent to Soledad. I don't know where he went. I think he stayed in Folsom. And then about 6 months later, he came to Soledad, and that's where we finished it. So
really, so you're just young. You've had this your whole life, right?
God, yeah, 3 penitentiaries in 2.5 years, and we finished the tattoo. And it's funny because this was his first tattoo. He hated it, right? Because he got so good at tattooing. And if you look, the lines on this are all real thick, right? And they've gotten to the point where they can do fine lines, right?
Yeah.
And this is all poke, needle, and poke. This is no machine, right?
Did that hurt? Did it hurt?
Yeah, but you can't say it hurt in Quentin.
No. You're like, oh,
and so when he finished it and it got famous, don't let anybody see it. Go, shut up! It made you famous. Mom. Yeah,
it is. It's the most famous tattoo in the world.
Funny because he passed away and he just died. He just kept using and died as an old crank addict, right? And nothing. He just died and stayed in the morgue for like 6 months, before somebody buried him. And then I remember Jerry, his girlfriend in junior high school, called and was crying and said, "Man, it was just nothing. He's just gone." And yeah. And I just did an article in International Tattoo Magazine. And so I just said, I gave him props. I told him.
Yeah.
And I remember when she got the article, she was just crying. Like it was just something I loved.
3 wishes that you get to have. What would be your 3 wishes?
Wow.
This is a tough one.
All 3 kids be successful.
That's
one. And my kids went through some pretty tough times. 2 of them with drugs real heavy, and now they're doing great. So they continue to do that. And I think dying with dignity still. And
yeah. You're on your way to that, brother. Seriously, inspiring story. Not that you're gonna die. I'm saying just a really inspiring conversation I'm having with you. If you had to choose one last bite, what would it be? What would be your?
Wow, that's.
I know.
Man.
Well, out of a
Now, this is
taco or a
toss-up.
donut? Which one?
This is a toss-up between Trejo's barbacoa or Musso and Frank's chicken pot pie.
Musso's at Frank's. Where's that at?
That's on. I think it's on Hollywood Boulevard. That's the oldest restaurant in Hollywood, 1919. I just did their 100-year anniversary, and they got the best eggs Benedict in the world. I've gone all over looking, man, and they've got the best chicken pot pie ever.
Really? Chicken
I
pot
swear
pie? I'm
to
a
God.
chicken pot pie fan.
Oh, I'm telling you,
This is the spot.
Take your family there. You know what I mean? It is like the best. It's on Thursday nights only.
Okay.
You know, and come early because literally, that's everybody knows. And you got to remember that Musso and Frank's. There's a lot of places in Hollywood that people go to be seen. Okay. Musso and Frank's is for the people that don't have to be seen. You know what I mean? They don't have to be seen. And you're like, in order to stay in the tabloids, you got to be seen. So you got to go to Cole, you know.
Yeah.
And Musso and Frank's, you go to dine. It's like oldest, unbelievable.
I'm gonna try that one out.
I'm gonna tell you, let me know when.
Chicken pot
man.
pie. I told you.
I'm telling you, Thursday,
It's
chicken
got my name
pot
on
pie.
A person in history you'd want to sit down with and hang out with, have a cup of coffee with. In history, living or dead.
I was gonna say Charles Bronson, but I did. But I gotta say John Wayne. I would have loved.
John Wayne's the guy, huh? The Duke.
The Duke. I would have loved to talk to him.
Yeah.
Just because of his whole deal. You know, love Mexicans, married a Mexican, and
Yeah, he lived down there, had houses down in Acapulco,
I was
right?
at his old ranch in Durango, and he built this western town down there. You know what I mean? And I just think he was like just like the guy.
Yeah.
Who
He was tough. That's my mom's
smoked
favorite.
himself to death, though.
Yeah. No, that's the Hollywood living back then, wasn't it? All right, last question. As you know, this show's called Wide Open. What's one area of your life that you'd like to improve in, that you're wide open to learning more about?
Anything.
Any area of your life that you're looking at saying,
All of
hey,
All of
be
them.
better
I
at
would love
this.
to
What are
be
you
a
wide
better-
open to learning?
I would love to learn, be better. Period. I like to. I think I'm in competition with myself. I want to be a better man today than I was yesterday, and I want to be better man tomorrow than I was today. And just that's it. Because it's like I find that the better you are, the more good shit happens to you. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is. It's just the better you are, the better person you are. I got to tell you, what we do today, there was a lady, I know this is going to sound real phony, okay, but there was a lady, and she comes in to pay her phone bill at this liquor store where I buy lotto tickets, right? And I'm buying lotto tickets, and I buy 4 lotto tickets, $120, 30 or $120. So I do 3 of them. She comes in, and she's counting, okay, wait, ¿cuánto? 48, and she, 30, 31, 32, 33, you know, she's counting right to her phone bill. And I went, well, the number is 48. 48, hey, that's a winner. And the guy knows, right? And he goes, it's a winner. Oh, it's a winner. We're saying, it's a winner. And says, hey, you're automatic, your bill's paid. You know what I mean? And your bill's paid, senora. So, and she goes, do you pay? No, I didn't pay the machine. Ganates, you know. She goes, oh, and she left, thanked us, and walked out the store, right? And so now I owe him $48. So next card, so help me God, I won $400.
Yeah.
I swear to God. Huh?
Yeah.
That's Mario.
Yeah.
Right there. Check this out, Mario.
Hey, I believe that.
You know
I
what I mean?
seriously believe this. Honestly.
I cracked up. And that's the way life is, though.
I love it.
You know what I mean? And I'm not doing that just because I got money. I really wanted just to wait a minute, man. I know that's my grandma. That's my grandma counting those quarters and them nickels and dimes to come up with $6.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so It was just like really cool. And how did I feel? I felt great. We celebrated. We were like screaming and yelling, and we were screaming and yelling more for her than for the $400.
What a feeling. I love it. Honestly, that I love that story because it says a lot. Just like your quote. I might even get that on a t-shirt. The better person you are, the more good shit happens to you. That should be a damn t-shirt because it's so true. And it works. It works. First of all, it makes you feel better, but it also is helping people, which is really kind of what this show is about.
Sometimes what's so funny, sometimes when we give stuff to the homeless, we'll be giving like thermal underwear to the homeless, and somebody will go, "Why are you doing that?" I said, "What are you talking about?" Because, it's just, but you're just, how do you say it? What do they call like when you're helping somebody? Enabling. Yeah, you're enabling. I don't give a shit. It's cold at night. But what are you enabling? They wouldn't be. People don't want to be homeless. It's like this shit happens.
Yeah.
And right now, the way stuff is, the way our economy, the way stuff, people can't afford to live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like if you get a high school graduate coming out of school, and they can't like all of a sudden go rent an apartment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, they gotta go get a job, minimum wage. You're gonna be like, so life is tough.
Yeah.
Man. And it's like, it's even tougher if you're stupid.
I love it, Danny. Thank you so much for
thank
coming
you,
on
man.
here, man.
It's been
I appreciate
a great
it.
day.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, buddy.
I'll be seeing you.
Yeah.
I'll be seeing you. You're on Channel 11.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, tell Tony. 75.